Good evening. I am Kim Melnick, Chair of the School Board of the City of Virginia Beach, Virginia, and I hereby call this meeting to order at 6 o'clock on this 10th day of June 2024. Thank you to those who have joined us in person and online. At this time, I will ask Madam Clerk to announce the roll.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Present in the school board chamber is Chair Melnick, Vice Chair Franklin, Ms. Anderson, Ms. Brown, Mr. Callen, Mr. Culpepper, Ms. Kendrick, Ms. Owens, Ms. Riggs, and Ms. Weems.
Okay. All right. Would everyone please join me in observing a moment of silence? Please stand as you are able for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We have no student, employee, or public awards this evening, and so I'll move on to the adoption of the agenda. I have the following modification to the agenda to start. To add to action item 15F, the Jewel abatement settlement. Does anybody else have anything else to add to the agenda? All right. In addition, we also have a closed session. All right. I'll entertain a motion to adopt the agenda as amended. Motion made by Ms. Franklin, seconded by Ms. Kendrick. Any further discussion? The voting board is open.
So, Madam Chair, we have 10 ayes. The motion did pass for the adoption of the agenda as amended.
Thank you. Dr. Robertson, do you have any recognitions this evening?
I do. And we are pleased that you've accepted our recommendation for Melissa Disher, currently a teacher at First Colonial High School, to be the new coordinator of Legal Studies Academy at First Colonial High School. And I see you brought a mentor.
Yes.
I do. Congratulations, and we wish you well. Thank you. And that concludes our recognitions.
Okay. All right. I'll entertain a motion to, I thought you were saying something. Okay. All right. So for the approval of the meeting minutes, any modifications to the meeting minutes? All right. I call for a motion to approve the May 28th, 2024 minutes as presented. Motion made by Ms. Riggs, seconded by Ms. Brown. Any further discussion? The voting board is open.
Madam Chair, we have 10 ayes, so the motion did pass for the approval of the minutes from May 28th.
Was everybody in attendance at the last meeting?
I was
Even-
not.
even
I was
if
not, but I
they-
watched it online, so I voted.
Oh.
Even if a person wasn't in attendance, if they've watched
Okay, that's all I wanted to
they
clarify.
can still vote on the
Okay,
minutes.
thank you, Mr. Culpepper. Thank you. I thought, okay. All right. The school board will hear public comments on matters relevant to pre-K through 12 public education in Virginia Beach and the business of the school board and the school division from citizens and delegations who signed up with the school board clerk prior to noon today. The purpose for the public comment section of the school board agenda is for the school board to offer an orderly forum to receive public comments during the school board meeting. I'd like to remind everyone attending tonight's meeting, this includes those on the dais and those in the audience and online, to please speak with respect and kindness. The school board also invites the public to submit comments through our group email account, which can be found on our website. Madam Clerk, would you please introduce our first speaker?
Our first speaker will be Stellan Stafford.
Welcome.
Do I just speak? Good evening, members of the School Board of Virginia Beach. My name is Stellan Stafford, and I am a junior from Frank W. Cox High School. I am speaking tonight about an issue that is very important to me: middle school, high school credit classes and their transference to high school GPA. About me, I'm a very studious individual, and I'm the president of the Regional Tidewater FBLA Future Business Leaders of America organization, which covers all of the Hampton Roads region. Throughout middle school, me and many of my peers, excuse me, took high school credit classes and earned mediocre scores in 6th and 7th grade. Because of this, our high school GPA suffered tremendously as we applied to college. Class decisions I made when I was 10 years old are now affecting my ability to attend universities. According to School Board Regulation 5-26.2, guardians may have these classes expunged from their child's records in the summer of their 8th grade year. And while that policy is beneficial, it is vastly incomplete. Sequential classes like languages are not possible to expunge after completing a high-level course, and the policy rests entirely on parents. Us high schoolers have a lot on our plates. Today, the desk next to mine in calculus class was empty, since the student who I was somewhat close with recently passed away as a result of the drug crisis. While that is a separate incident, it goes to show how much stress many of us go through. Many of us simply don't have the capacity to counterbalance lower grades in middle school with even higher grades in high school, which is why I am here today. I propose an amendment to the existing policy, adding a few crucial pathways for better student success. First, I propose the option of retaking these courses for first years and sophomores to help alleviate these issues. Secondly, I believe that the regulation against the expungement of sequential courses should be adapted to allow students to expunge their grades under the condition that they retake the class in the following year. With these changes to the existing policies, students from Virginia Beach will be more competitive in the college admissions process and will go on to attend even more prestigious institutions. While it may be too late for my class, these amendments would help future generations of Virginia Beach residents and would increase equity. My name is Stellan Stafford. Thank you very much for your time and consideration, and I appreciate your commitment to our education in the city of Virginia Beach.
Our next speakers are Diane Muscovak, Matthew Cody Connor, and Joyce Karen.
So I have great news. The National School Chaplain Association announced that the state of Louisiana joins Texas and Florida, passing the historic school chaplaincy bill. Louisiana now joins the national school chaplaincy endeavor that is spreading across our country. 3 states are a great start. Now that the legislation has opened these first states to school chaplaincy, the data collected from these schools will crucially help other states this upcoming legislative session. Additionally, the NSCA is called upon by Florida's largest school district, the 3rd largest in the nation, for expert advice. And the wave is being paid for future chaplain bills in 24-25. On June 3rd, school board members, community leaders, and local ministers held a roundtable discussion to collaborate on effectively implementing the chaplain program in Miami-Dade County Public Schools. The NSCA Chief Executive Officer, Rocky Malloy, was called upon to join this discussion and offer his expertise in model policy formation. Rocky Malloy states, "This will have a profound impact on Miami-Dade residents and the entire state for God's glory." For those eager to delve deeper into Louisiana's involvement in the chaplaincy program, detailed coverage is available on charismanews.com. Johnny Davis, Chief Development Officer with the NSCA, stated, "Chaplaincy fills a huge gap in support for individuals suffering from trauma and ongoing anxiety. School chaplains are not just frontline staff, but also key contributors to the school district's success. They convey hope and purpose, vitally important aspects of chaplaincy that are proven to create safer and more peaceful learning environments." School chaplains meet the needs of 4 groups: educators, school administrators, children from pre-K through 12th grade suffering from anxiety, depression, and hopelessness, and parents and guardians who need support and trauma care. The NSCA was established to promote school chaplains as legitimate and necessary members of a school staff through national standards for school chaplains. The NSCA delivers promising tidings to the proactive endeavor of safeguarding our children in public schools. By offering a moral compass and instilling values of God and Christianity in children from an early age, we have the power to positively alter the course of our nation's future. Until next time, let's team up and change the hearts of people starting at a young age. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Matthew Cody Connor, Joyce Karen, and then Tanya Bond.
Happy Pride Month. I hope you spend it feeling incredibly uncomfortable and guilty about the harm your policies are causing LGBTQ students. Found myself recently on the Students First Virginia website. For those of you that don't know, that's the political action committee that represents our local group of far-right Christian Nationalist school board members and candidates. Mrs. Manning is the vice president. The irony and outright ignorance I found in the statements there just blew my mind. I mean, to say that you support the teachings of Martin Luther King Jr. and oppose any socialist equity agendas. Did you know that Martin Luther King Jr. said, and I quote, "America must move towards a democratic socialism"? No, of course you didn't, because if you had your way, you would ban books about Martin Luther King or have them filtered out by your book review committee. You're strongly opposed to anything resembling critical race theory, or as many of us like to call it, an American history, and deeply offended by any insinuation that America might be a racist country. Well, just so you know, when we declared independence in 1776, slavery had already been here for over 150 years. Slave codes were written specifically to protect whites while guaranteeing that people of color were enslaved for their entire lives. So like it or not, the country born out of the American Revolution was a nation of racist slavers. Slavery would continue for 89 years until being abolished in 1865. And then for the next 100 years, our country would be segregated according to race, with people of color being discriminated against and denied rights and protections. Over 75% of our country's 248-year history is steeped in racism, and there's no way to honestly say it doesn't exist today. So the end of segregation was only 60 years ago. That's not even a full person ago. And I don't care if it makes you uncomfortable to think mom and dad or grandma and grandpa grew up in racist America, that maybe they were racist. Maybe they taught you some racist things. That might hurt your eyes to look at that reality. Those that spend too much time in the darkness of ignorance cannot help but be pained by the light of truth. But we must stand in that light, and we must face those hard truths if we are to become better, if we are to teach our children better. If you understood this, Kempsville High School might still be playing baseball instead of embroiled in an investigation into years of racist bullying. If you don't learn to understand this, Virginia Beach schools may become the subject of a Department of Justice investigation the same way Norfolk schools currently are. If you really want to make our schools better, stop choosing ignorance.
Our next speaker is Joyce Karen, then Tanya Bond, then Frances St. Clair Graniger.
Good evening. My name is Joyce Carone, and I have been teaching for 11 years, 7 of which have been with Virginia Beach City Public Schools. Next month, I will be turning 33 years old. Not a flex. Let's dive into a quick math lesson. 11 divided by 33. I've spent 1/3 of my life teaching. 24 divided by 33. I've spent over 2/3 of my life in public schools. Why is this relevant? I was in 3rd grade when SOLs officially began in 1998. Shortly after, I joined the No Child Left Behind era that was introduced in 2001 and signed into law in 2002. I grew up alongside the rise of technology and can proudly say that not only was I an AR reader, but I did all my work on paper, had the first and OG cell phone policy, learned cursive on an actual blackboard to later use it as an online platform in college. I am the face of the current generation of educators. Retention of my generation is vital as we are inspiring and shaping the next one. Before I continue, I would like to be transparent that I have advocated tirelessly for awareness prior to stepping up to this podium. Some may feel that my concerns were already addressed, but I'm here to share that is your perception and provide our community with some insight on why retention of my generation needs to be on every single agenda. Like many educators across the city, state, and country, this year almost dimmed my educator light completely. Among the varying reasons, the most difficult to process has been witnessing a remarkable educator whom I met 11 years ago transform into a stranger right before my eyes. This person who once amplified my passion for case management and special education before beginning my own education journey with their example, attempted to negatively use that same passion against me to make me believe I was bad. Additionally, I have watched firsthand how preference, privilege, and power can put two educators, both with credible backgrounds and good intentions, in completely different places in terms of overall acceptance, camaraderie, support, and workloads. Why? Games, systems, procedures, policies, and the workplaces they create. On the other hand, this school year taught me quite a few lessons that reminded me of how fortunate I am to have the experience and knowledge I have, as well as the small but amazing group of students, families, and professionals that have inspired an impenetrable conviction to speak truths that propel education forward for students, my current colleagues, and those who come after me. A young lady recently approached me regarding joining this profession, and just for a moment, after my experiences this year, what exactly should my answer have been? Rhetorical, but that is a reality that many of my generations are facing. I promised myself and that young lady to seize any and every opportunity moving forward to make sure educators know these are heartbreaking realities they may face with other educators they work alongside with. I am more than confident that they are listening. The question is, members of the school board, are you? Thank you for your time.
Our next speaker is Tanya Bond, then Francis St. Clair Graninger.
Hello, my name is Tanaya Bond. Unfortunately, I am here to inform you all that Virginia Beach City Public Schools has no policies or procedures in place for the case of a child going missing on their school grounds. Please take the time to listen to this quick description of an event that took place on Lansdowne Middle School property May 15th, 2024, and how the staff's lack of preparation led to my mother's detainment in front of my now 12-year-old brother and his peers. My brother did not get off the school bus at his usual time. Of course, my mother, who waits for him every day, goes up to the school. It is important to mention that Lansdowne Middle School does not have any way for parents to contact staff by phone even 5 minutes after school hours with children still in the building. Sorry about that. Once my mother gets up to the school, she informs the staff, where 7th grade assistant principal Brian Liniger requested that she list off the top of her head all the places my brother could be and only search for him in those places, and did one overhead call, never doing a full sweep, never following a protocol. They then reported to my mother that her child was not on school grounds, to which she became increasingly upset, as any mother would. They began to force her off of the premise, where multiple police officers and numerous staff who should have been looking for my brother all surrounded my mom. When I arrived, she was in handcuffs, begging and crying for someone to find her son, as she was being dragged away from the last place she'd seen him. My 15-year-old sister, a former student of LMS, as am I, ended up finding my brother singing on a stage in the auditorium. Lansdowne Middle School staff exhausted all of their resources and could not find a child under stage light. When things died down, Brian Liniger and VBPD agreed that, in quote, mistakes happen. My mom received a temporary no trespassing order and is now banned from LMS and being charged with disorderly conduct. Her court date is set for June 18th. This could be your child, brother, sister, niece, or nephew, and they may not be so lucky to be under stage lights. Those who have been informed or contact has been attempted yet rejected, deferred, or ignored are Lansdowne Middle School staff, Joan Brown, office manager, Brian Liniger, assistant principal, Kimberly Melnick, chair, Dr. James Smith, Matthew D. Delaney, Dr. Eugene Saltner, Robert Winowski. None have maintained communication. I urge you school board members who have thwarted and ignored our concerns to address this. You, Donald Robertson, promise to keep communication open, and I urge the community to hold you to it, because I certainly will. Thank you for your time.
Our next speaker is Francis St. Clair Graninger.
Good evening. My name is Trey Graninger. I'm a teacher at Cox High School. VBCPS gives me my best and worst experiences as a teacher. The best always comes from the students, and the worst always comes from leadership. I have spoken to this board in the past out of a sense of duty. I am here to dutifully petition you again. We create policies and regulations to foster civility, like the social contract. We control unprincipled behavior for the common good. Policy strives to protect honor and integrity. The VBCPS priority transfer policy attempts to govern office politics and self-interest by using the hire date parameter. Through hire date, we honor loyalty. Sadly, though, this same policy also allows exceptions to hire date by using building needs. But who establishes these needs? Who says one supplemental position outranks another? What categorically dictates which school role supersedes another? The unregulated and unreviewed, that's who. Anyone can readily see the problem here. Hypothetically, leadership could priority transfer, say, a 33-year fully certified teacher using multiple exceptions, including transferring that veteran teacher over a first-year teacher. A first-year teacher, mind you, who teaches under a provisional license and who runs a nebulous, miscellaneous supplemental position, so nebulous and miscellaneous, even school leadership would need to research its definition. A supplemental position where the first-year teacher self-admittedly did no work and never met with a student. A supplemental position that the current transfer policy allows an administrator to label as an essential building need. That's right, hypothetically. Under current policy, a building principal can use a no-show supplemental position as a building essentiality. Where's the honor here? The integrity, the loyalty? The answer is obvious, it's nowhere. I beseech this body to remove the exception to hire date ruling from the policy. Mandate that priority transfer be hire date only. Leaving the exceptions power to a few creates temptation and manipulation. The exceptions rule allows the possibility of a shell game. Does anyone here want to lower a person's 30-year career to a shell game filled with the sleight of hand? Policies and regulations should protect teachers from such an apparent grift. Anything else is negligence. Anything else is an insult to all teachers. Thank you.
We'll move on to our online speaker. Kim Mayo, please unmute.
Hi, good evening. I'm speaking about two education reform topics, shutting down Old Donation School and advocating for school choice. It's fiscally irresponsible to build new schools with construction costs soaring when ODS can be repurposed. This is the message that most care about outside of the gifted community. Why does Betty F. Williams have an old beat-up building while ODS kids learn in luxury? We've heard a lot about ODS and the gifted cluster lately. Having a gifted standalone school is not a best practice. There's good reason very few school districts across America have one gifted standalone school. VB Schools needs to provide proper advanced learning opportunities for our great nation to maintain our competitive edge. The gifted cluster model is broken beyond repair. We've heard from many stakeholders during public input. I attended several gifted advisory meetings and spent time in our school. A recent site report I emailed to school board shows how gifted kids are not being challenged in our most military-affiliated elementary school. At least their gifted teacher is not in denial. Last year's lottery scandal has put increased scrutiny on our gifted program. ODS no longer represents quote-unquote top students. Returning to neighborhood schools would be hard for many, but no more difficult than the truly gifted kids passed over not being challenged. If we're serious about delivery of services, equity, curriculum, and not status quo, and feeding the DOE a false bill of goods, let's think big picture with a 5-year plan and dissolve ODS. Another important reform topic is school choice. Any help school board can offer to advance it is appreciated. Our tax dollars should follow our child. I'm the product of school choice. I grew up in a small town and we had opportunities we never would have had without it. We have some good public schools in Virginia Beach, but many are not. 28% of our school teachers and staff don't trust our school-level administration. 22.9% don't feel respected by our school-level administration per the Virginia School Survey of Climate and Working Conditions. Our teachers get along with each other for the most part, per the survey and from my observation, but too many of them and families don't feel supported by our school-level administration and her supervisor in the central office. We did not choose this situation, but we will overcome it. My loyalty is to family first, not to the government school machine, and I come from a family of public school educators. Virginia needs to try something different in pursuit of opportunity and educational excellence. School choice to support homeschool families and those enrolling in private, so our kids' diverse educational needs can be met. Let's support candidates and elected officials who are pro-school choice, private education vouchers, and tax credits. Thank you, school board. I hope you all have a nice summer.
And Madam Chair, that was our last speaker for this evening.
I'm sorry, you said the last one canceled?
Yes, the online speaker number 2 had to cancel.
Okay, all right, I'm sorry, I missed that. Thank you. All right, then moving on to information. And we will begin this evening with the Recovery School update and resolution reaffirmation. Welcome, Dr. Jean Saltner, Chief of Staff.
Thank you and good evening, Chairwoman Melnick, Vice Chair Franklin, board members, and Dr. Robertson. This evening, I will update you on the continued development of planning for a Region 2 recovery school. I'm providing this information in preparation for your action on June 25th, where I will ask you to reaffirm the January 23 board resolution of commitment for a Region 2 recovery school. Take a moment to look at this timeline before I speak. The school board was first introduced to the concept of a recovery school at the July 18, 2022 school board retreat. About 3 months later, in November, on information, planning progress for a Virginia Beach City Public Schools recovery school was presented, along with the proposed funding streams, which included 2, application for an innovative lab school grant and request for a legislative package from the General Assembly. Much to the dismay of this early planning committee for Virginia Beach City Public School Recovery School, no funding was granted. With a lack of funding, the planning committee regrouped, seeking alternative means of funding. In August 2023 board workshop, the concept of a recovery school was revived with an expanded approach to include a Region 2 recovery school, accompanied by a request for legislative funding. This is a model which was recently implemented in Chesterfield, Region 1. On January 23, 2024, the school board approved a resolution of commitment to an investigation of a Region 2 recovery school. I'll share tonight the good news regarding this regional approach and funding. Mr. Andrus shared this earlier. I also want to add to our timeline that on February 13th, the school board approved a motion to set aside $500,000 in dual settlement funds for a recovery school. With funding available, we are heretofore in an unprecedented position to bring to fruition a recovery school to serve Virginia Beach City Public Schools and Region 2 students. Let's get started tonight with a quick revisit to the purpose of a recovery school. I believe it will look familiar to you. Again, I'll give you a moment to peruse. Recovery schools are typically small schools that offer both academic and diverse therapeutic services, including individual and group counseling, chemical dependency education, family support, and random drug testing. The academic supports you see referred to in bullet 1 typically provide for differentiated help for students to continue to earn credits, catch up on missed coursework and credits through the provisions of a virtual high school curricula provided with instructional supports from recovery school staff. The second bullet, human capital, encompasses all resources related to providing recovery, or you might think in the adverse, or failing to do so. From the financial to long-term cost of possible medical care and the human and social factors of possible homelessness, incarceration, and sadly, the loss of life. Think of a recovery school in terms of human capital saved. In bold, you'll find the theoretical framework for recovery schools, which include the notion of adolescent recovery capital. That is, the benefits of providing recovery now. And here is the resolution of commitment approved by this board on January 23. The 5 schools, including VB in our region, to join in this important work include Norfolk, Suffolk, Portsmouth, and Chesapeake. The 7 bullets on the slide are self-explanatory. I'll not review them. If you'll read them, look up when you're done. I'll move to what had been in the past our greatest impediment, funding. If we're prepared, I'll go ahead and move on. In our attempts to move forward with the recovery school, our greatest hurdle was funding. The obstacle has been overcome with 3 funding sources. Foremost, the General Assembly appropriated $1.5 million to be shared equally between Loudoun County and Virginia Beach City Public Schools, to be used as noted, $500,000 each for year 1 for planning and $250,000 each for year 2 for planning and implementation of each respective regional recovery school. In this instance, although Region 2 will house the recovery school, Virginia Beach will serve as the fiscal agent for Region 2. And you'll note that the funding is also contingent, you'll see in the last 2 lines, upon December 1 planning and implementation updated, provided to the House Appropriations and Senate Finance and Appropriations Committee in each of the 2 years. In providing funding, the General Assembly is signaling their support for the need for recovery schools. Note too, the governor has signaled the same with Senate Bill 726, which specifically requires school boards to create policies and procedures for opioid overdose prevention and treatment in our schools. Governor Youngkin was quoted regarding a series of bills to combat the opioid epidemic. He said, "These bills are a testament to our continued efforts to address addiction and overdose prevention by raising awareness and much-needed resources. We will continue to follow every path, use every asset, and employ every bit of our shared will to combat this epidemic. This is my pledge to all, Governor Youngkin stated, all Virginians. Clearly, the need is real, and our elected officials are responding. Also now, VBCPS and regional superintendents have submitted initial applications to the Virginia Department of Education for consideration for opioid abatement settlement funds to go along not only with the General Assembly, but the dual settlements. Under Dr. Robertson's leadership, each of the superintendents have identified a point of contact to serve on a regional planning committee. Bobby Jameson will serve in this role for Virginia Beach, and through funding provided solely by the House and Senate Appropriations Committees, a part-time individual on a temporary employment agreement will be hired by Virginia Beach City Public Schools as project director to lead the work of this commitment of 5 regional schools. This work will commence on August 1. The committee will plan to plan all components from mental health supports to location of the recovery school, to transportation, to budget. And the project director will return to this board December 10th to present this plan. I am confident with this board's support, a regional recovery school will open in 2025-26 to serve the needs of Virginia Beach City Public Schools and our neighboring cities in the region. This is the 3rd time at bat for a recovery school. And on each of the prior presentations, funding was the obstacle that sent us back to the dugout. With funding in place, I'll now take any questions which you might have.
Okay, Ms. Anderson.
Thank you for this information. Do you know who the project director will be?
That has been
This time.
undetermined.
Okay.
We will not proceed until we have the reaffirmation on June 25th from this board.
Do you know what will qualify a student to attend the recovery school?
That will be defined by the planning committee.
Okay. And also, will the planning committee also define what protects the school division from parents down the road who might have a student who continues to use drugs? What protects us from being sued by parents who feel that we failed?
A comprehensive plan will be put in place, and the planning committee will attempt to anticipate all such matters. As your question now triggers this, and I suspect the planning committee may have devised the same, we will seek the advice of the legal counsel throughout our region. We have 5 schools that can offer a combined legal opinion.
Thank you.
Ms. Riggs?
Okay, I know that when you guys first started, did you not work with Old Dominion and King's Daughters?
They are 2 separate considerations. First of all, with Old Dominion University, we sought lab school funding, innovative lab school funding. That was unsuccessful. We also worked with Old Dominion as we developed a plan for a Virginia Beach City Public Schools recovery school, in that they have students who are part of an organization. They are students who had addictions and are in recovery, to work with those as mentors within our program.
Are they still in on that with us?
We have not proceeded with planning. Again, the details of a recovery school may vary significantly from what we presented 2 years ago. We're waiting for the reaffirmation from this board. Once we have it, the planning will commence August 1.
I will offer Old Dominion, the director who was involved previously has indicated to Mr. Delaney and myself in a meeting that they would like to be involved again.
Okay, that sounds great. What about, CHKD? Were they not going to work with us in some way, or?
We are looking at the mental health component, and as we initially were working with CHKD and may well continue to do so. Mr. Jameson, as point of contact, will look at multiple providers to see what one will provide the best services for our student while looking at the price tag. We may also, as the development occur and as our governor has signaled greater support, we are finding that the mental health boards at the state level are providing additional supports to schools. And that's took place in the Chesterfield model, where they are funding 2 of the behavioral counselors.
Okay, and maybe Virginia Wesleyan? I mean, is that?
I think that the planning
Would we-
committee would not dismiss assistance from anyone.
Right.
What we are looking at is putting together 5 points of contact who represent each of the cities, and each of those cities have unique connections with universities. So I suspect that just the brain trust that will come from a representative from each is going to give us more of a diverse offering of assistance.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Ms. Franklin.
Thank you. Well, I'm just so thankful that we found some funding for this project. I guess what I have questions about, though, is we've been talking about this for so many years, and we have gotten to the point where we have other divisions that have committed to being on board with this. What I feel like we're still lacking, though, is the monetary commitment that it's going to take. So of course we can, use the funding that's been provided by the General Assembly, the Jewel settlement that we've set aside. Fabulous, that's great. I guess I'm just concerned about the ongoing commitment after those funds are expended, and what the commitment to our budget at that point would look like. And so I just feel like we still have some questions that need to be answered, and we're kind of in this position where while we're excited to have the ability to move forward, I just feel like that there are still some questions that need to be addressed as well. Even though we have this initial funding, I'm so glad we have the initial funding, but what happens after that funding is expended? And what is the cost to the division? What is the cost to other divisions? And I feel like we've been talking about this for quite some time, and I still don't know that we have those answers yet. Is that correct?
No, we would not have those answers. What we do know is we have the resources of 5 school divisions. We approached this with the resources of Virginia Beach City Public Schools prior. We know that the governor has signaled his support. The General Assembly has provided 2 years of funding with that $750,000. And Dr. Robertson, in working with the regional superintendents, is confident that there will be a financial commitment from each of those boards.
And I get that.
Yeah, Ms. Franklin, so your question is not unique to this board. Each of the 4 superintendents absolutely have shared with me that the information that they'll provide to their boards in December will be complete to the point where their boards will understand long-term commitment beyond additional funding. Because those boards also don't have that information. They're not going to blindly say, yes, we'll approve it. So we're gonna have that information. It'll be in December, which will be plenty of time for the board to determine whether or not they can support the plan as part of budget discussions that start.
So the vote we're going to take on the 25th is just reaffirming
That's
that
correct.
we want to continue down this path.
That's correct.
But it doesn't commit our future budget to, or it does. I guess that's my question. Does it commit our future budgets after 2 years to what we're going?
What you guys have voted on is that to commit $500,000 to
Sure.
support a recovery
Yes,
school.
of course.
If the plan that we bring back indicates that $500,000 is not going to even do it, would not do anything other than help create a recovery school, then the board would have to know that any kid that goes into that school is an additional cost. So at that point, I think the board would revisit whether or not they could still continue to support that. I don't think that's gonna be the case.
Okay, but we will have that information.
Yes.
Ms. Franklin, I would also add in the model which we are able to follow as someone has taken these steps now regionally before us in Chesterfield, they received the same funding year 1 and 2.
Okay,
General Assembly granted a third year of funding, and they anticipate this to continue because the need is real.
so you're saying that Chesterfield is in their third year at this point?
That is correct, and the General Assembly has granted again additional funding, extended funding.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. I share some of the same concerns that Ms. Franklin mentioned, just wanting to make sure that there is continued funding to support the level of program that we would want to create prior to really jumping too far down this road. I appreciate the need for this type of program. I would really, hopefully by December, want to see the actual commitments, monetary commitments from these other school divisions. It would be difficult for me to pick somewhere in our budget currently and say, let's pull money out of this place in our budget for a new program. And so these funds that we are receiving to start are a good start. But if I'm thinking about the quality of employee that we would need for a program like this, and we set our full benefits package at a generous $40,000, that's gonna get us 7 employees for this regional program at $280,000. I would definitely need more, and maybe we will get that additional commitments and additional planning situation by December. But currently, the idea is still lacking some information for my total support. So thank you.
Mr. Callan.
Realizing the need exists and is increasing. At this point in time, do we have a sense of how many students we would like or be able to accommodate as it launches?
Mr. Callan, I think that's to be determined by the planning committee. And again, we are going to look at the model that is in place and the experiences that Chesterfield Recovery Academy has had. They have had up to 33 students in their 3 years, and they are looking to cap that at 50. It would depend very much on the location for this. When Mr. Delaney and Mr. Jameson worked 2 years ago to find a location in Virginia Beach, they found a very small site, a synagogue that was able to share with us their school. We would have been limited to probably 12 to 15 students at the most. We are working now with 5 regional schools. There may be no need to lease or rent space. Within these 5 regional schools, we might find that location. Once that location's established, we can determine how many students we can serve in that ideal location.
Thank you.
Mr. Cowan, I would also say we would fill it similarly to the way we fill our alternative seats within CSEP and our TRAPE in our regional schools. A district such as Virginia Beach would receive more seats than a smaller district.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Saltner. Colleagues, we have not gone forward with this, as Dr. Saltner said 2 times before, because of funding. Funding is here. And then I hear we need more details, but yet we can't go forward and put this work group together from 5 localities unless we're gonna say, we're gonna do this, we're gonna go forward, and we're gonna let this group give us a plan of what the school will be, all the cost, all the employees, and the commitment from the other school divisions. So I urge you to vote for this in 2 weeks to reaffirm, so that we can get these 5 school districts working together and really coming up with a great plan for us to see in December. As you know, we have, many students, many different small groups of students who, require more services and who are frankly more expensive to educate. And so I hope that we're not choosing this group to say it's too expensive to educate this group when we do it a lot because it's the right thing to do. And we do it because we educate all of our students and we look at their needs and their specific vulnerabilities and challenges. So I hope that we do the same for this group. Like Dr. Saltner said, it is overdue. And in fact, I got an email and 2 conversations in the last 2 days. One of the emails is from our teacher at a secondary school that emailed me yesterday and wants to talk and quote unquote, I'm so excited about the recovery school. It is way past overdue. It is way needed. And this teacher is in one of our secondary schools. So I just urge you to vote for this and then get the plan in December and vote that up, and then we'll get this thing started. It has been way, way, way too long and too overdue. Thank you.
Okay, so since there's nobody else, I'll speak. So, as long as, so this is up for information. Let me start there first. So you've presented some information, and I realize that we have to vote to move this forward so there can be a working group to answer all of these questions. But right out of the gate, for anybody in the public that's listening, any of our teachers, you know, they're gonna hear a large dollar amount with no answers to any questions, right? So,
No, ma'am.
Right,
We
so-
have answers.
so we don't have a project director. We don't know who these students will be or what will qualify them. We don't know any legal aspects. We don't know if we have a partner. We don't know the actual price tag. We don't know the ongoing monetary commitment. We don't know the continued support from Norfolk, Portsmouth, Suffolk, or Chesapeake. We don't know where this is going to be. We don't know what would constitute a qualified staff member for this, what the ongoing price tag would be. And for the record, to educate a student at TRAPE, it's about $12,000 a year. So, since TRAPE was mentioned. So, I'm okay with investigating this, but right now there are so many questions, and we've been talking about this for over, for 2.5 years, and we don't know any more today than we did 2.5 years ago. And so now we're talking about starting a program in 6 months, or having enough to begin the moving forward in 6 months, and I'm just slightly confused. And so it's not about support, but it is about questions. And it is about educating the community on this, because while the community doesn't understand all of this, some people do, but now we have to sell this to the community. In fairness, we do. At a time when we're trying desperately to retain our teachers, we have so much in the pipeline coming down to Virginia Beach schools, and all of a sudden we have to find this money and start this program. Not saying I'm not for it, but I have to be able to sell it to the community, and that's fair. I do. There is a need. Clearly, there's a need. But you got to help us out, because we are a little confused. And when we move forward with this, and if we move forward with this, I hope that my colleagues never refer to this as government school again, because we are crossing many, many lines for so many children in areas that we never have before. And so I'd love that little opportunity, that if, we're going to continue to be, parents and doing more for children, that we have a little grace in calling this public school again. Ms. Riggs.
So, we've had several bring up, about questions not being asked, and we can't move forward until we vote. Why can't we kind of put the cart before the horse? We're not spending money to find out about these answers. Why can't we get more answers before we do the vote? Why can't we get some answers to these questions that some of my colleagues have before we move on with the vote?
Yeah, I think I can answer that. So, you just walk back a bit of a timeline. We anticipated if the General Assembly would have taken action on a regular timeline, we anticipated being able to pull the trigger in March, so to speak, with the other school divisions, because we would know at that point if there was any financial support. So the reason we're having this discussion right now is because, again, all four superintendents have indicated to me that their boards have the same questions that you have. All we're asking you to do is to one more time green light that you're still interested. You need to see the whole plan. And when you see the whole plan in December, which will include an answer to every one of your questions, at that point, the board will need to make a decision as to whether or not they want to continue with moving towards a regional recovery school, or does this board decide that they do not want to? And then I'll have to determine, working with Joel Andrews, how does that work with the fact that Virginia Beach City Public Schools has been placed as the fiscal agent for the money to support a regional recovery school, and we're not going to participate. So I certainly would research that. I am confident, and I've had conversations with all the other superintendents, and I'm pretty good with numbers. I am confident that what we bring to you in December is absolutely fundable for years to come. I'm also confident that after we have a program in place, the lessons and the stories and the saving of and turning around lives will bring forward other groups who want to support this. All we're asking this board to do is give us the green light to continue to do the work. I think we all know who the director of this thing is going to be, but we can't say that. It's premature. But I think we all know who the director is going to be starting August 1st of this work. We just can't say that. And I also know 4 of the individuals that have been assigned from the other school divisions. These are people who get work done. And they are, so I have a lot. You might say I'm staking my job on this one, right? Because it's screw the pooch in December. I'm out in January. Okay. So I just, that's what we're asking. And I realize that there's some anxiety, but what I'm saying is we can do this. We just need to go ahead and say, develop the plan, bring it back to us in December. If it doesn't meet the board's needs at that time, the board has full responsibility to determine, yep, we're not going to do it. And then you've got money available in those categorical grants that you can determine how you want to spend. Because none of the money that we've committed right now, the $500,000, is going to be spent as part of this process. That it's going to sit there. The money we're going to spend is the money we've received from the General Assembly that will fund all of the work between now and when we submit our plan in December.
Okay. All right, so you answered that. Thank you. I appreciate that. So that final decision won't have to be made until December. And the reason why I'm asking this, because you said you're sure the other boards or the other divisions have the same questions we have. So that's what concerns me too.
They absolutely do.
I mean, I definitely am wanting to do something as well, but we can't fund it all by ourselves. So anyway, okay, thank you.
Ms. Brown? No, because Ms. Weems has already spoken, so Ms. Brown first.
All right, so, I'm happy to see that the General Assembly has given some funding, and this is rhetorical really, but will we get that funding if we do not reaffirm this commitment and move forward?
We've already received the funding, and the first part of the funding is given to us for planning. And we have to make a report to them in December. We could conceivably present a report to the General Assembly funding bodies, as Dr. Saltner mentioned, in December, and they reject it.
And so in order for you all to move forward, you need us to reaffirm so that we can get a plan, which is what you said. And so some of that was already rhetorical and in my head after you had answered it, but I do think that we need to move forward with this. I probably spent about 25 hours on the phone with legislators trying to advocate personally for this in my individual capacity. Of course, we did have it in our legislative packet. We did ask for this from this board. We got this funding. I do believe that we need to go forward with this plan. And I also do believe if we don't get involved, we're gonna be the only division out of 5 that is not in this regional recovery school, Virginia Beach. So I would ask my colleagues to consider that as we move forward. Thank you.
Ms. Weems? I guess I just don't get what's so confusing. I mean, the reason why we haven't moved forward is because at first we started with just the Virginia Beach plan. That didn't pan out. We don't have funding, we don't have funding. Then we went to another. We don't have funding, we don't have funding. Now we've got funding and we've changed to a regional concept. We have funding, we've changed to a regional concept. The reaffirmation in 2 weeks means that we want to find out answers. We want to actually see the plan of what the school looks like. Who goes to the school, who works in the school, transportate, all the details that we all. But if we don't vote in 2 weeks to reaffirm that, we're pretty much saying, we don't care to get any of our questions answered. We're not interested, we don't care. Because it doesn't make sense for us to contact 4 different school divisions, have countless hours and hours and hours and hours and hours of meeting without making sure that all the boards are like, yes, we affirm, we're gonna move forward to get this plan. So in 2 weeks, we're moving for the 5 districts to really work a lot together, get out a plan, email your questions. I'm sure that you can call the point of contact people and we can get information as it goes. And then and then we see the plan in December. So this is to get all of your questions answered. Because it does not make sense to do this and then have half of you say, we can't do it because we don't have the funding, or no, we can't do it, not enough questions, not enough answers. This is to get the answers.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Franklin and then Ms. Owens.
And I just want to be clear, thank you very much for the presentation. In my personal opinion, my questions are not there to say that I don't want to move forward. My questions are there because it's due diligence. That is our responsibility, to make sure that we ask the questions before we vote on something. I feel like that's our due diligence. But it does not mean that I don't support this initiative or that I'm not interested. But I do think, we have questions all the time about several issues, and it's really important that we don't take those questions as not being supportive. So I just want to say that for the record.
Thank you. And thank you for those remarks, Ms. Franklin. I am curious, with our upcoming vote on this issue, if any of the other 5 districts are presenting to their board and voting on a resolution saying that they also want these answers and that they're also in this initial agreement, or is it just our board having to make that commitment early on?
So we have shared the resolution this board passed in February. I've shared it with all 4 of those superintendents. All 4 of those superintendents have had conversations with their board chairs, and I know of at least 2 that have already done a presentation. It's my understanding the other 2 are doing presentations now as well. About this, again, work to gather information, discover, present a plan in December in advance of the next budget cycle for all 5 school divisions.
So they've all been presented with this resolution, but none have taken it up for a resolution vote? Is that?
I have not tracked what the other 4 divisions have done, so I'm going on what the 4 superintendents have told me.
Okay.
Again, 2 indicated that they have taken it to the board and with a vote, 2 indicated they were going to.
Okay, I would love to have that next meeting, just to know if any of the boards have brought that resolution to vote in their localities.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Robertson, so Norfolk's in. Initially, Norfolk did not have money.
Yeah, Norfolk is in, they're in, just like Portsmouth, and let's see what the cost is gonna be. Let's see the location. They want all their information as to whether or not they're gonna be able to proceed.
Okay, so it
Yeah.
might be, we get all this together and we have two districts that can't afford it?
That very well could be the case.
Okay, and so the director of this on August first, the funding for that administrator will come from,
The state funding.
okay. So that's part of the $5,000.
That's the
$500,000.
Correct.
Well, the first 500,000.
500, it's a total of 750 in over 2 years.
Okay, I appreciate everybody weighing in on this. I think the questions were important. As I said from the beginning, this has been 2.5 years of nothing. We haven't heard anything about this in 2.5 years, anything of substance. So I think the questions were fair, and I think that the continued questions are fair.
And I welcome them, and I assure you, if you move forward, you will have a rock-solid plan before you.
I have no
December
doubt that we'll
10th.
have a rock-solid plan, but I think, I really do appreciate all the questions.
Thank
So
you, Ms.
thank
Miller.
you, colleagues. Oh, Ms. Anderson.
I just have one more question. Is it possible that you could gather some of the answers from the Chesterfield region that already has been doing this for 3 years and go by, at least answer how they qualify students and how they've gone about answering some of these questions? Could you bring that
We
information?
visited, myself and Mr. Jameson visited Chesterfield Recovery Academy last Friday. We have copious notes from that visit, and I would hesitate to impose what they are doing where there needs to be regional planning.
I get it.
The regional schools, once they have agreed to participate, will more than likely make that same visit. Chesterfield is looking for a partner. They are an island. They are the only recovery school currently in the state of Virginia for high school students. They are calling to Texas to get ideas and guidance and welcome the opportunity to have a partner here in Virginia. So I'm very confident that we can share with you some of the gists of what they do, but I would
Right.
overstep my bounds to suggest that this is what we would do when it requires regional planning.
Right, I'm just curious to know some of how they're, answering some of these questions. So,
Absolutely.
not that we have to copy exactly, we can adopt on our own, but just I'd be interested.
We are not going to recreate the wheel. We have a model, a very successful model that was recognized at the White House in Chesterfield's Recovery Academy. And it continues to be a beacon for recovery schools in the state of Virginia. We will certainly use them as a guiding light for the work that we do.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
Is Chesterfield not looking to expand theirs regionally? Because if they're, that just, my little antenna went up when you said they're looking for a partner and cannot find one.
They are a regional recovery school,
So other
serving the
districts
schools in their region.
in their region.
Yes.
Okay.
And because they are solo in the state of Virginia, they are looking for others to collaborate, just as our teachers collaborate school to school and collaborate grade levels.
Okay.
It's a professional learning community from which we can all benefit, and they are looking for that opportunity to have that professional learning from one another.
Okay, thank you.
And they are also looking to help us in any way that they can.
I'm sure they are.
And they would welcome visits from our board members.
Okay, excellent. Okay, well, seeing no further questions, we will move on
Thank you.
to the fiscal year 24-25 amended budget resolution. And we have members from our wonderful budget staff present, and welcome.
Thank you. Good evening, Chairwoman Melnick, Vice Chairwoman Franklin, school board members, and Dr. Robertson. I'm Charity Zelmer, and with me is Cassandra Armstrong. We are the Budget Development Coordinators in the Office of Budget Development. The resolution presented to you tonight stems from the final approval of the state budget on May 13th. In order for the City Council to appropriate these additional funds in time for August 1st salary increase, this resolution is included in tonight's agenda for both information and action. This slide presents an overview of the school division's revenue sources. In the first column, you'll see the figures for the proposed FY 24-25 budget as approved by the school board in March. The second column displays the projected revenue for the amended budget. For the amended budget, state revenue increased by $18.9 million, sales tax decreased by $2.8 million, and the revenue sharing formula decreased by a little over $200,000. This results in an overall increase over the proposed budget of $15.9 million. This slide shows how we are balancing the budget. $13,045,540 is to provide a 2% increase in the entry rates for both the unified and instructional pay scales effective August 1st. $2 million to provide additional special education support. $650,000 to provide one wellness day for benefit eligible employees in an allocated position, and $238,763 for instructional resources. Thank you for your time, and we will open it up for questions.
Okay, looks like you did a great job last week with all the information, and so looks like we're gonna be ready to go tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, and our last item under information is the School Board Association renewal. And it says on the presenter, so I'm just gonna read this information about VSBA. So the background summary is, the Virginia School Board Association is a private, voluntary organization of Virginia public school boards. The VSBA provides training, publications, resources, access to some legal assistance, access to some services such as policies, superintendent searches, legislative services, conventions and networking, and access to other school board associations nationwide. The school board has been a member of VSBA for over 20 years. The annual dues for VSBA are determined by a formula set by VSBA, and member school boards can add additional services at certain costs. For fiscal year 24-25, the annual dues for the school board of the city of Virginia Beach are $13,779.73. Member school boards pay separately for attending conferences, training, or other services. And so until this comes up, oh no, this is for action this week, okay? So,
Information.
Oh,
It will be on action at the
I'm
next
sorry,
board
we
meeting.
did, I'm sorry, this is information. So, if you have, well, first of all, any questions, I'm not sure that I could answer everything, but if anybody has any questions, but in the meantime, I'm gonna call in just a second. You can also, talk to Cammie, or, call any one of the directors of the SBA with any questions that you have. They're easily accessible. Their phone numbers are listed on their website. There is a directory when you first call, but you can also email them and ask them to call you, but it's worth the conversation. And Mr. Culpepper.
Sorry, you probably don't know the answer to this one, but in addition to the annual dues of not quite 14,000, do you know how much we spend annually on VSBA? Things of any kind?
Ms. Linetti, do you know what we spend annually with VSBA?
General membership cost, your general membership's about 13, but then as you attend conferences, you pay for the conference itself, so it would depend on the matter of conference. I know what we have to pay for my attorneys to have to be involved, to be membership, and then when we attend conferences, so I'm not clear how many conferences you go to, but those conferences are usually about $200 or $300 a piece.
Okay.
And in addition, they provide services for the clerks.
Yes, they have both a fall conference and a spring conference that both myself and Ms. Kipe do attend to help our professional development. And that, like Ms. Linetti said, runs about $220.
Okay. All right, Ms. Weems.
Yeah, that was my question, if we could get some idea of how much we're spending. Because I know, some of us go to several conferences, get money for food, get money for hotels, get entry fee for the conferences, or at least the entry fees for everything. If we could get a ballpark figure about how much we're spending per year,
It
I
should be
think that would be
hard to
helpful.
do.
Okay, thank you. And also, I'm assuming they haven't in the past, or do you know if there's any plans, or are they doing this where that the clerks could just join, or individual members can join? It's just the whole school board, and so there's
It
no
is.
separation.
VSBA is following the model where the entire school board has to do. If you wanted to continue to have some relationship with NSBA, which they've separated from, there are some provisions to participate individually in that.
Okay, but we couldn't just say that the clerk could get some professional development, or you and your legal team could.
No,
Okay, it's
you have
all
to- you have
together
to be a
with the
mem-
school
you have to
board,
be a
even though
member
y'all aren't on.
association.
Okay, okay, thank you.
So when we attend do we have school board budget money, right? So is that where, if we attend a conference, is that where our money comes out of our school board budget?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay. And last year, we decided to open up to, another group also, and we also pay for conferences for that group too, right? We all decided that our professional development would,
That is correct.
that is,
Yes.
okay. All right. Any other questions about that? All right. All right, moving on to our consent agenda. I'll read the items included on the consent agenda this evening, and after reading each item, I will ask for an objection or request to move an item to other portions of the agenda if necessary. So tonight, we have 11 Policy Review Committee recommendations, Policy 5-10, admission requirements, 5-15, transfer students, 5-20, married students, 5-35, discipline and control of students, 5-47, school-sponsored associations, clubs, and organizations, 5-48, student social activities sponsored by school division, 5-51, student vehicles, 5-53, activities, access to school facilities, 5-56, contagious and infectious diseases, human immunodeficiency virus, 6-56, student travel for school-sponsored events, and 7-48, community use of school facilities generally. Also tonight, we have item B, right of entry easement for Arrowhead Elementary School. C, Corporate Landing Elementary School HVAC replacement. D, Red Mill Elementary School sidewalk easement. E, Lansdowne High School HVAC replacement. And F, Citizen Advisory Committee appointment recommendations. Does anyone have any objections to anything listed on the consent agenda this evening? Okay. Hearing none, then I call for a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented. Motion made by Ms. Anderson, seconded by Ms. Riggs. The voting board is open.
So, Madam Chair, we have 10 ayes, so the motion did pass for the approval of the consent agenda.
Excellent. And on to action. The personnel report. I call for a motion to approve the June 10th, 2024 personnel report and administrative appointments. Motion made by Ms. Riggs, seconded by Ms. Brown. Any discussion? All right. I call for a vote to approve the June 10th personnel report. The voting board is open.
So, Madam Chair, we have 10 ayes, so the motion did pass for the personnel report.
Dr. Robertson, are there any administrative appointments?
There are, in fact, there are several. 'Tis the season. So we're pleased tonight that you've approved our recommendation for Jeremy Cox, currently an assistant principal at Rocky River High School in Charlotte Mecklenburg Schools, who's relocating to Virginia Beach to be the next assistant principal at Salem Middle School. Next, Angela Parsons, currently an admin assistant at Virginia Beach Middle School, but formerly a professional learning specialist in the Office of Professional Growth and Innovation. We're pleased you approved our recommendation for her to be the other assistant principal at Salem Middle School next year. At high school, we're pleased that you've approved Sharon Bird, a teacher at Salem High School, who has no previous teaching experience outside of Salem High School, because I hired her at Salem High School, to be the next coordinator of the Visual and Performing Arts Academy at Salem High School. And next, we've got Amy Church, Assistant Principal at First Colonial High School. Formerly worked in the Department of Human Resources as a Human Resources Specialist. We're pleased that you have accepted our recommendation for her to be the next Director of Employment Services in the Department of Human Resources. That's it. Thank you.
Excellent. We look forward to seeing them at the next school board meeting. Okay, I call for a motion to approve bylaw 1-28 committees, organizations, and boards. And this brought a little confusion, and Ms. Toniato, tonight that is for,
That was for, at the last school board meeting, Ms. Linetti presented the bylaw, and the major change is going to be the removal of the PMC committee and all the edits that were done in that bylaw.
right, and it's actually, that is the actual title for this specific bylaw. I know it looks like we're doing committee assignments, but we are not. And Ms. Linetti.
Good evening, Madam Chair, Vice Chair, school board members, and Robinson. I'm Cami Linetti. On behalf of the PRC, I'm recommending that you go forward with the amendment of bylaw 128. Remember, because it's amendment, you require a supermajority to approve this. You would be taking out C3, which is currently Planning Performance Monitoring Committee. So you'll see all of C3 gets pulled out, and that renumbers the remaining committees on there. So the only change would be to renumber the committees after that. So that's a recommendation coming out of the PRC committee.
Okay, and so I would just add that I think there was great intention for this committee, and I was never on the committee, but I attended my first meeting recently, and I just felt that it was the repeat of it was watching the presentation that was going to occur for workshop, and then sometimes repeats again during the formal meeting, and I felt that our staff was having to do those presentations 3 times. And so I just personally didn't feel the need, and that's why I had sent it back to the Policy Review Committee, so I thank you for that. Any other discussion? Ms. Anderson?
I will say that the one meeting that you did attend, that is what happened. It wasn't always like that in all meetings. There were times that we actually did discuss the budget and recommendations for things that could be done with the budget. But I do believe that the full board participating in budget discussions, especially when we do our retreat throughout the year, is sufficient. So I'm in favor of eliminating this committee. Thank you.
Okay. So again, the motion was made by Ms. Riggs, seconded by Ms. Kendrick. Any additional comments? All right, the voting board is open.
So, Madam Chair, we have 10 ayes. The motion did pass.
Thank you. Tonight, there are 2 textbook adoptions. We'll start with AP Psychology. Call for a motion to approve the textbook adoption for AP Psychology, Myers Psychology, 4th edition. Motion made by Ms. Franklin, seconded by Ms. Brown. Any discussion? The voting board is open.
So, Madam Chair, we have 10 ayes. The motion did pass.
Okay. I call for a motion to approve the textbook adoption for AP European History, Western Heritage since 1300, 12th edition. Motion made by Ms. Anderson, seconded by Mr. Callen. Any discussion? Okay, the voting board is open.
Madam Chair, we have 10 ayes. The motion did pass.
Okay, now on to the fiscal year 24-25 amended budget resolution. I call for a motion to approve the 24-25 amended budget resolution. Motion made by Ms. Riggs, seconded by Ms. Anderson. Okay, Ms. Franklin, would you please read the resolution?
Yes. Whereas the School Board of the City of Virginia Beach approved the fiscal year 2024-25 school board proposed operating budget on March 12, 2024. And whereas the fiscal year 2024-25 budget was adopted by the City Council on May 14, 2024. And whereas the adopted budget recognizes a decrease in local tax revenue streams used to calculate the revenue sharing formula for the city's contribution to the schools. And whereas a negative adjustment of $218,208 has been placed in the school's fiscal year 2024-25 operating budget to account for the variance in city revenues. And whereas this negative adjustment will be offset with additional state revenue, and whereas Governor Youngkin convened a special session of the General Assembly on May 13, 2024. And whereas the 2024 Special Session 1 General Assembly adopted a budget that amends fiscal year 2025-2026 direct aid distributions to school divisions. And whereas these amendments include, among other items, a 3% compensation supplement to school divisions for standards of quality, SOQ instructional, and support positions effective July 1st, 2024. And whereas Governor Youngkin signed the Virginia State Budget on May 13th, 2024. And whereas state funds for the school operating fund will increase by $18,937,444, and state sales tax will decrease by $2,784,933. And whereas the School Board of the City of Virginia Beach requests an additional appropriation of $16,152,511 into the school operating fund and $105,000 into the Green Run Collegiate Charter School Fund. And whereas appropriations of funds must be approved by the City Council prior to the expenditure of funds by the School Board of the City of Virginia Beach. And now, therefore, be it resolved that the School Board of the City of Virginia Beach requests an additional appropriation to the school operating fund of $16,152,511, which includes a $105,000 transfer to the Green Run Collegiate Charter School Fund. And be it further resolved, the School Board of the City of Virginia Beach requests an additional appropriation to the Green Run Collegiate Charter School Fund of $105,000. And be it further resolved, these funds will be used to provide additional special education support, one wellness day for benefit eligible employees in an allocated position, and a 2% increase in the entry rates for both the unified and instructional experience-based step pay scales effective August 1st, 2024. And be it further resolved that the School Board of the City of Virginia Beach approves and affirms the necessary appropriation and recommended uses of these funds. And be it finally resolved that a copy of this resolution be spread across the official minutes of this board, and the clerk of the board is directed to deliver a copy of this resolution to the mayor, each member of the City Council, the city manager, and the city clerk. Adopted by the School Board of the City of Virginia Beach this 10th day of June 2024.
Any discussion? I see some question. There you go, Ms. Brown.
So as she was reading this, and I read it before, but I noticed that it mentioned there was a negative adjustment. And while I was out in the hall, somebody asked me if we were asking for city council for more funds, and I just want to verify. This is just the state funding that we're voting on, correct?
Yes, you're voting on the state funding. When the city council approved their budget, it included the 200 and some thousand negative. And so we took the state funding, and you have to back off what we're not getting from the city, which is why it went from 16 to the 15.9 for what we're spending. So their approved budget already accounted for that negative $200,000. We just have to true it up on our side. So we're not asking this city to give us any more money, but they have to appropriate the state funding to us.
Okay. But the things that we voted in our budget and did not include, that's not included in this still, correct? The removal from the 2 cent. And that's where I'm having the confusion when that's in there.
So we did, the budget you approved in March did include the negative 2 cents, and then there was an additional amount that was taken from us because they had to do they offered a grace period for taxes, so it reduced what we get.
Okay, that makes sense. All right, I just want to confirm. Thank you.
Ms. Riggs.
I just have one question. I don't know why I'm not seeing this, but, because there were lots of charts and I was reading through all of those. Are we still, going to provide a 3.5% raise to our,
That'll be in the salary resolution we do next.
okay, all right, I just wanted to make sure. Thank you.
Are we good? Okay, again, the motion was made by Ms. Riggs, seconded by Ms. Anderson. The voting board is open.
So, Madam Chair, we have 10 ayes, so the motion did pass for the amended budget resolution.
Thank you. I call for a motion to approve the salary resolution for 24-25 and the attachments A through H as presented in the agenda packet. Motion made by Ms. Owen, seconded by Ms. Riggs. Ms. Franklin, will you read the salary resolution, please?
Yes. Whereas the mission of the Virginia Beach City Public Schools, in partnership with our entire community, is to ensure that each student is empowered with the knowledge and skills necessary to meet the challenges of the future. And whereas the school board has adopted a comprehensive strategic plan and school improvement priorities to guide budgetary decisions. And whereas the school board has studied the recommended school operating budget in view of state and federal requirements, additional demands for space and operations, the strategic plan, priorities, expectations, competitive compensation for employees, and the best educational interests of its students. And whereas the school board proposed operating budget has been reconciled to meet the funding from the city council. And whereas the proposed fiscal year 2024-25 operating budget includes a 1.5 step increase for all eligible employees and allocated benefited positions, earning an additional year of experience on the instructional experience-based step pay scale. And whereas the proposed fiscal year 2024-25 operating budget includes step increase for all eligible employees and allocated benefit positions, earning an additional year of experience on the unified experience-based step pay scale as follows. Employees with 1 to 14 years of experience will receive a 1% step increase, and employees with 15 years plus of experience will receive a 1.5% increase. And whereas the proposed fiscal year 2024-25 operating budget includes the following changes. Driver's education instructors will be upgraded to grade 13. The entry rate for bus assistants, cafeteria assistants, custodian 1, and fleet shop helper on grade 7 will be adjusted to $15 an hour, and tuition reimbursement increased to $1,000. And whereas the alphabetical listing of instructional positions, instructional experience-based and unified experience-based step pay scales, part-time temporary hourly rates, table of allowances, high school department chairs, non-athletic supplements, athletic supplements, and student activity rates titled below, and as shown in the attachments are approved and will be effective as shown below. And whereas the percentage of compensation increases and the effective dates of the increases are shown below. Attachment A, alphabetical listing of instructional positions as of 7/1/24. Attachment B, instructional experience-based step pay scale, again 7/1/24. Attachment C, unified experience-based step pay scale, 7/1/24. Attachment D, part-time temporary hourly rates, 7/1/24. Attachment E, table of allowances, 7/1/24. Attachment F, high school department chair supplements, 7/1/24. Attachment G, non-athletic and athletic supplements, 7/1/24. Attachment H, student activity rates, again, 7/1/24. Now therefore let it be resolved that the school board of the city of Virginia Beach adopts the salary scales and the compensation increases as outlined in this resolution and attachments.
Thank you, Ms. Franklin. Thank you. All right, and last on our action agenda is the Jewel.
We
Oh,
have
yeah,
to
that would be
vote.
nice, wouldn't it? Okay, the voting, any other discussion? Yeah, the teachers are freaking out right now. Okay, the voting board is open. Sorry.
So, Madam Chair, we have 10 ayes, so the motion did pass for the salary resolution.
Okay, thank you. All right, and now the last item under action is our Jewel abatement settlement. I call for a motion to move the remaining funds of $392,000 into the existing categorical grant, but not to specifically designate how it will be spent. Motion made by Ms. Anderson, seconded by Ms. Kendrick. Any discussion? Okay, the voting board is open.
So, Madam Chair, we have 10 ayes, the motion did pass.
Okay. Any committee, organization, or board reports? All right, well, it is the most wonderful time of the year, and it is graduation week, and I'll call on you, yeah. It is graduation week, and that starts tomorrow, so I look forward to seeing my colleagues at graduation starting tomorrow through Saturday, and congratulations in advance to all of our students graduating and moving on. We're really proud of you. And Ms. Kendrick.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. I just want to report that on the 5th of June, my colleague, Ms. Weems, and I held a planning discussion to get some information from stakeholders from Betty F. Williams and Bayside 6. And we had some principals stop by, as well as administrative staff, some parents and some citizens that showed up. And albeit it was a small gathering, we did collect some good information from their thoughts about the different structures from grades 4 through 6, or the 6 through 8th option with the Bayside 6 students, and then their hopes for the future of Virginia Beach City Public Schools. And so we were also joined by our illustrious Nicole Livas. So, and she was just so great to help us with moderating and hosting that event. So I just wanted to report on that. It was good to be in the community with the constituents who care about that issue.
Thank you. That's nice. I heard it was a great event, and community engagement is so important. Thank you for doing that, to both of you. I'm sorry? Oh, Ms. Franklin wanted to know if you would maybe jot a few things down and send it to us.
My name is Shannon Kendrick, of course.
Thank you. Anybody else? Okay. And with that, we will now go into close, so I turn that over to. Oh, you do. Why? No, I'm just kidding. Welcome back, Mr. Freeman. Just to wrap up our earlier workshop.
Yeah, thank you for your patience. Sorry we couldn't get this done earlier. So we're just, much like we did with Betty F. and Bayside 6, we're just trying to make sure that we have your consensus for what we're going to look at. So I'm going to read to you what we believe to be consensus from the group, so that you can say, yes, that is the direction we want staff to pursue for the update that'll come. So from Learning Communities, there was an item on there about potentially reducing the size of the classroom. The consensus is that you want us to look at the size of the classrooms. And there were feedback on different ways to look at it, but the general consensus is you look at size, so that is our intention. I'm looking for general head nods to make sure we have consensus of the board. Okay. Regarding the special education resource rooms, there was consensus that we can go from 800 square feet down to 600 square feet in the special education resource rooms. There was a little bit of feedback that they could be balanced the same size as the core classrooms, but the majority was they can go down to 600 feet. So we believe that the feedback is you want to see what 600 feet looks like as far as an adjustment. For the number of students per classroom at 27, the consensus feedback was 27 was good. There was a little bit of feedback from the group that talked about reducing the size of the classrooms, that if the size of the classrooms went down, to reduce the number of students per classroom. That was only in one of the groups. It was not consensus. So we believe that our direction is to stay at 27 students per classroom.
Yes.
For me, that's going to be dependent on what we decide for classroom size. I mean, I think those go hand in hand. So I think you can't have one discussion without the other. So I think it's going to come down to if we get a consensus vote on classroom size, then we can further follow up on the number of students.
In addition, depending on where you started, so group 2 started with no, we were in here second, so when we started talking about rezoning, it kind of changes your thought. So if you rezone and each school is at 1,800 students, where one might be at 15 now and one might be at 2,000, it kind of changes your thought process, because now we're not building a school necessarily for 1,500 schools. We could be building a school for 1,800 plus. And so Yeah, it just depended on when you heard that information, because that's going to, it is a huge factor.
So what I
but-
think I'm hearing is there's a combination of factors that you've asked us to look at the size of the classrooms. There's a concern if we're reducing the size of the classrooms of the number of students, so we're gonna have to come back to you with the balance of the calculus
Mhm.
for what it looks like on the slide.
But we also realize we don't have unlimited funds, so all these little things are like little cogwheels, right?
All right, we can do that. We will come back and share what the balance of that is, because essentially the concern is, well, if we reduce the size of the classroom, then we probably need to have fewer kids per classroom.
Yep.
So, hear you loud and clear. Okay, moving on. Special Education Center, the resounding consensus was no, do not look at that. 150 is the right size. The Special Education Center, population of 150 students to support, the consensus was no, don't look at that, keep
Yep.
it at 150.
Mhm.
For the activity programs, CTE spaces, resounding no. Keep CTE spaces as they are in the designs. Wrestling room, mostly no's. One group feedback related to reducing the size of the wrestling room. So if we went with the preponderance of the feedback, it was don't look at it. Is that our direction?
Sure.
Okay, we will not look at the restroom room then. As far as eliminating the mezzanine in the main gym area, the consensus was no. Keep the mezzanine area. We heard a lot about the support for the special education students at this school.
As long as there's access
There will be.
from an elevator, okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
For the increase in the auditorium to be able to support our maximum capacity events, the resounding, hey, we want you to explore that. So we'll come back to you with what that would look like, what the cost would be associated with it, and other variables. As far as balancing for enrollment, so to be very clear, what that means is put more students in the school, which means building more classrooms in the school, which lowers the square foot per pupil in this. The feedback we got was, yes, look into that and come back to you with feedback of how that would look. Will do. For the combining the SCOLA and the open dining commons, the feedback was no, don't look at that, keep it as it is. For reducing the indoor mechanical areas, it was a consensus of no. We don't want to do that. There was a little bit of feedback in one of the groups related to, but we would like to see what the cost data is. But that feedback wasn't to look at it, it was just, hey, what's the cost balance of that? And had not a part of it. So we're not going to look at that as part of when we come back to you. Okay. And then the last one is reduce the width of the hallways, and consensus was no, don't look at reducing the hallways.
Our group never even got that far. But we're nodding, don't make them.
Dr. Robertson, we're at the end of our list.
Okay.
Anything to add before we conclude?
Talk about next steps.
Next steps. So with this, we will go look into these and come back to you. We have a school board retreat. We have a brief that's already teed up on the 10th of July. That's a comprehensive discussion. So given the timing, with that being about a month away, it's likely that this would be included as part of that comprehensive brief. And then we would kind of, that's the step where we feed, now we would have information on Prince Anne High School. We would have information for Betty F. and Bayside 6. And now we have the information that we need to start working towards a plan to set us up for the next budget cycle. So we envision that there are going to be multiple meetings that will occur after that to make sure that we're getting your guidance and we're taking the actions necessary to set us up for a budget cycle where we've got a school that we've picked, we're able to fund it, and we're able to move forward with a design bid build process.
Yeah. Thank you for this work. So the work that the staff put into this, it was really important, and I appreciate everybody's input, those that helped walk us through all of this, especially people who've spent a lot of time in school buildings. It really made a difference to talk to people who know what it's like to be there. all day long. So thank you. We look forward to the results of the head nods and the head shakes for, thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yes, absolutely. And now we will transition into closed session.
I move that the school board recess into closed session in accordance with the exceptions to open meetings law set forth in Code of Virginia 2.2-3711, Part A, paragraph 7, 8, and 19, as amended, to deliberate on the following matters. 7, consultation with legal counsel and briefings by staff members or consultants pertaining to actual or probable litigation, where such consultation or briefing in open meeting would adversely affect the negotiating or litigating posture of the public body. For the purposes of this subdivision, probable litigation means litigation that has been specifically threatened or on which the public body or its legal counsel has a reasonable basis to believe that will be commenced by or against a known party. Nothing in the subdivision shall be construed to permit the closure of a meeting merely because an attorney representing the public body is in attendance or is consulted on a matter. Consultation with legal counsel employed or retained by a public body regarding specific legal matters requiring the provision of legal advice by such counsel. Nothing in the subdivision shall be construed to permit the closure of a meeting merely because an attorney representing the public body is in attendance or is consulted on a matter. Discussion of plans to protect public safety as it relates to terrorist activity or specific cybersecurity threats or vulnerabilities, and briefings by staff members, legal counsel, or law enforcement, or emergency service officials concerning actions taken to respond to such matters or related threat to public safety. Discussion of information subject to the exclusion in subdivision 2 or 14 of 2.2-3705.2, where discussion in an open meeting would jeopardize the safety of any person or the security of any facility, building, structure, information technology system, or software program, or discussion or reports of plans related to the security of any governmental facility, building, or structure, or the safety of persons using such facility, building, or structure. Namely, to discuss recent issues on public safety matter, status of pending litigation or administrative cases, consultation with legal counsel regarding probable litigation and pending litigation matters.
And seconded by Ms. Kendrick. Voting board is open. If there's no discussion, okay. Mine is not showing, so I'm an aye.
Mine as well.
Mine did not, it didn't pop up, so I'm an aye. Okay, we are now in closed session. Have we
Did we
transitioned?
get all the votes? Can anybody vote? Is anybody having, a-
It says we voted.
Mine does not say I can vote.
okay, hold on. I'm gonna go down the line, for some reason it's not going. Ms. Anderson, how do you vote? Aye. Ms. Brown, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. Callen, how do you vote? Mr. Culpepper, how do you vote? Ms. Franklin, how do you vote? Ms. Kendrick, how do you vote? Ms. Owens, how do you vote?
Aye.
Ms. Riggs, how do you vote?
Aye.
And Ms. Weems, how do you vote?
Aye.
Okay, so Madam Chair, we have 10 ayes. The motion did pass to go into closed.
Okay, we are now in closed session and we are transitioning out of VBTV.
convening a closed meeting on this date pursuant to an affirmative recorded vote and in accordance with the provisions of the Virginia Freedom of Information Act. And whereas Section 2.2-3712D of the Code of Virginia requires a certification by the school board that such closed meeting was conducted in conformity with Virginia law. Now therefore be it resolved that the school board of the city of Virginia Beach hereby certifies that to the best of each member's knowledge, one, only public business matters lawfully exempted from open meeting requirements by Virginia law were discussed in the closed meeting to which this certification applies. And two, only such public business matters as were identified in the motion by which the closed meeting was convened were heard, discussed, or considered.
Motion made by,
We didn't have a thing up there.
I can't do that. Hold on. Okay, motion, no?
No motions.
Second.
All right, motion made by Ms. Brown, second by Ms. Anderson.
Okay, there you go.
All right, all in favor, please, is the voting board open?
It says you voted again. It says we voted.
Okay, all in favor, raise your hand.
So, Madam Chair, we have 10 ayes. The motion to pass for certification of closed.
Thank you. This meeting adjourned at 8:10.
Yes.